Cristiano Ronaldo's career over at Man United? Only time will tell as we get into this next video. What's going on, guys? It is Ketch back again with another video, and we begin with Cristiano Ronaldo. And to be perfectly honest, I think his career is turning down the end of the road. I think he is more or less finished at the high level. He just can't seem to cut it anymore, and I'm not entirely sure how Man United move forward with a problem like Ronaldo. They lost overnight 3-1 to a struggling Aston Villa outfit under the new management of Unai Emery for the first time, which is, you know, ironic in itself, considering the guy just says this all the time.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
But we know, going back to Ronaldo, I think he's finished at the high level. I'm not sure how he would fit in the World Cup with Portugal, but you can tell just from how United play that he is not looking very good at the moment, and he's actually not benefiting them. He's actually what's the word? He's actually making the team play worse. So, you know, it's a bad time for Ronaldo, to be perfectly honest. In my opinion, I think he should just cut it and retire. Save himself a lot of trouble. But, you know, Ronaldo's got egotistical issues, but we'll leave it at that, really. Anyway, moving on. It was a fantastic victory for Aston Villa. They went 1-0 up through Leon Bailey. Then a superb free kick from Luca Dean made it 2-0. United did get one back through an own goal, but then it was finished off by Jacob Ramsey early on in the second half to put some misery on Man United after they had a couple of decent results of recent. But what does Erik ten Hag do with Ronaldo and Man United moving forward? Only time will tell, but there is only one more game week until the World Cup. Over to Tottenham, and Tottenham's woes have gotten a lot more worse under Antonio Conte as they succumb to a 2-1 home defeat to the inconsistent Liverpool. And to be perfectly honest, Liverpool were actually really good. They dominated the first first 40 minutes, if you will. Scored 2 goals through Mohamed Salah. The second one was a bit fortunate. Eric Dyer misjudges a header onto his shoulder, and it just bounces perfectly in front of Mo Salah, who chips the keeper and makes it 2-0. Harry Kane did pull one back for Spurs in the second half, but it was nothing more than a consolation goal for Spurs, who have now got some serious issues under Antonio Conte in terms of injuries, but also the fact they start very slowly in games but finish really well. So the question for Conte and a lot of Spurs fans would be, how can they start quicker but at the same time play with the same intensity they seem to have in the second half? Only time will tell, but Conte is this type of manager that if he doesn't get his way at a certain club, he'll probably be out the door sooner than you can blink. So I guess what I guess remains to be seen is, does Conte renew his contract with Spurs? To be perfectly honest, I don't think he does. I don't think Daniel Levy is the type that will back him moving forward. He has backed him over the last few transfer windows with Richarlison and Clement Lenglet, to name a few transfers they've made. But for Tottenham, I'm not sure if Conte stays until the end of the season. He might stay till the end of the season, but whether he signs a contract or not, I don't think he does. Conte's that type of manager that needs a certain type of player, and he's not one that's going to be nurturing youth. So yeah, I think Conte probably leaves at the end of the season, if not before. Meanwhile, I keep bringing this up every week, but Newcastle continue to surprise. They beat a struggling Southampton 4-1 at St Mary's, thanks to goals from Miguel Almiron, Chris Wood, Joe Willock and Bruno Guimaraes, rounding off a very nice victory for the Magpies. And the Geordie faithful must be loving what they're seeing from Eddie Howe and the Newcastle team at the moment. Miguel Almiron seems a reborn playmaker ever since Jack Grealish made the comparison that Riyad Mahrez played like Almiron. Almiron has been scoring goals for fun ever since that, and it sort of shows that Jack Grealish has scored none in that time. So Almiron is like a man reborn under Eddie Howe. And considering, even though Newcastle have spent a bit of money, they haven't spent as much as I thought they would, considering their Saudi ownership at the moment. But the rate they're going, I think the World Cup break actually comes probably too soon for them. I reckon that, you know, the form they're in, the momentum they're carrying, they could have probably carried that all the way up until, I don't know, probably the end of February at this rate. But, you know, it's good to see someone, you know, different in the top 4 from time to time. And, you know, maybe Newcastle can pull a surprise out the bag. They're currently 3rd in the Champions League spots. Let's see if they're there come season end. But I think under Eddie Howe, they're doing a very, very good job, and they're definitely my interesting team that normally doesn't finish in the top 4 team. So good on you, Magpies. Let's keep it going. Over to Stamford Bridge, and Arsenal have further solidified their title challenge against Man City this season by beating Chelsea 1-0 thanks to a Gabriel goal in the second half. It now takes Arsenal back to the top of the table by 2 points over City with 1 game to play before the World Cup break. And to be perfectly honest, Arsenal, I think they might be able to take City all the way to the end. But the thing is, will they suffer from World Cup hangover fatigue when a lot of their players come back from international break? I'm talking about the likes of Martinelli, for example, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus. Those are sort of very, very key players in that Arsenal squad at the moment. Will they suffer from fatigue post the World Cup? Only time will tell. But this whole scheduling of the World Cup is a nightmare, but that's an issue for another day. But yeah, Arsenal won 1-0 at Chelsea. That's the first time they've actually won 3 games at Stamford Bridge since 1974. That's a fun fact for viewers who don't normally watch this sort of stuff. But good, Arsenal are on the up and up, and Mikel Arteta seems to have them playing in a way that previous managers couldn't. Wenger included in the last few seasons. So it's nice to see a rejuvenated Arsenal from time to time, and hopefully they can take City all the way. West Ham meanwhile succumbed to a 94th minute defeat to Crystal Palace, and it was thanks to the combined efforts of Wilfried Zaha and Michael Elise that got Palace over the line. But however, they did go 1-0 down to a side Benrahma thunderbolt that left Vincente Guaita, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, with no chance. But then Wilfried Zaha, the key player in the Crystal Palace project, stepped up, got the equaliser back with a beautiful finish past Lukasz Fabianski early on, late in the first half actually it was, and then they kept pounding on for a winner, and they got one with a deflected shot from Michael Elise that deflected off Aaron Cresswell, looped over Lukasz Fabianski, the West Ham goalkeeper, and nestled into the back of the net. Heartbreak for the Hammers, but delight for Crystal Palace, and it gives Patrick Vieira's men their first away win of the season, and looking like they're going to be moving up and up the table under Vieira's guidance and leadership. Meanwhile, at the Etihad, it took a 95th minute penalty from Erling Haaland to down Fulham at home. The penalty itself was questionable, as a lot of different angles showed Kevin De Bruyne going down very, very softly. There was contact, but I think it's a very, very soft pen to be given. And to be fair, City seem to get a lot of these decisions going their way when they need them. But Erling Haaland scores another goal. That's 18 for the season. And he's just going on an absolute mind-boggling streak at the moment. But for Man City, it was made tougher by João Cancelo's early sending off in the 26th minute for a last-man challenge on, I think it was Andreas Pereira. Pereira scored the penalty, put it away, made it 1-1, and it stayed that way right until Kevin De Bruyne's, we'll call it a dive in this instance, but the referee didn't bought the dive and gave Man City a penalty, which Erling Haaland converted. They've got one more match before the World Cup break, so I guess we'll see where they go into that. But we'll see if City suffer from any World Cup, fatigue post it. So, let's see what City do coming up. Finally, over to Ellen Road, and a 7-goal thriller was played out between Leeds and Bournemouth. Leeds took the early initiative with a 3rd-minute penalty scored by Rodrigo, but then Bournemouth struck back with 3 blows through Marcus Tavernier, Philip Billing and Dominic Solanke to put him up 3-1 at the 67th minute. Actually not the 67th minute, the 60th minute, before goals from Greenwood, Liam Cooper, and an 84th minute from Sorenko Somerville, who scored last week, was winner at Anfield, scored another winner this week at home to down Bournemouth in the 84th minute. And boy, did the Leeds fans go nuts in the Ellen Road end. The Leeds are doing something now the last couple of games. It's like the victory over Liverpool has given them a lot more confidence than they had previously. But is it just a false dawn, or can Leeds push on and steer clear of relegation this season? Only time will tell. I think Leeds will probably be alright, but you never know. The Premier League is a very, very fascinating league, and one minute you could be top of the table, the next minute you could be battling relegation. That's how the Premier League works. But that has been the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on another video very soon.